Well, today on Paulette's Paper Play, I have something very special and very limited. It's called Bunnies and Baskets. It is an 8x8 paper pad, and I'm going to be going through all of the things. And you can do so many things, and I'm going to share with you some new things for me. But this is just one of the projects that you can do. So really, absolutely charming. Won't you please come play with me? Well, in this paper collection, you're going to get 16 papers. There's 2 each of the ones I'm going to show you. There's 176 cutouts. Oh my goodness, so that should take care of everyone's Easter needs. So let me just show you the sheets. Each of them has this on the front where there are 6 blocks, 1 with greetings and 5 of them with art. Okay, and although it's called Bunnies and Baskets, we just did have to add a couple of other kinds of animals like that little bear. And on the back side, there's an all-over pattern, which is just going to make everything so much easier. So here's the next one. We do have some little villages, like I said, some greetings areas that you can do whatever you want. On the back side of this is darker green. So we've got kitties, we've got puppies, and on the back, and here's another with a fox and 2 bunnies, and there, and then we have this. So you see the greetings change color to match the background, and we did have to add a kitty, you know, just had to. And this one, and this one. Okay. So you're going to get 2 each of that, which is going to give you 16 sheets. And you know, something I just saw on this package, it says 8, so we're going to get that fixed. And there is an idea on the back. In fact, it's the one that I just showed you. And so let me start with that one. And here we go. Okay, this is a 5 by 6.5 inch card. And this is the sheet I used. It is that first one in the package, and you can see it has a different background than what I used, but you can mix and match as you like. Now, I did take the light blue and trimmed it to be smaller than my card. You will see all of the measurements and so forth are down below. Just click on the card and that will take you to the directions that I've written for you. So anyway, I did cut that. I believe it is 4.5 by 6. And that gives you 1/4 of an inch all the way around. I like that white. It just picked up a few of the highlights in the artwork. And I wanted a really strong blue to go with this. So I used the Ocean Suede because, you know, you can pet it. It just seemed to go kind of along with the bunny. Very, very soft, you can pet it. And I did cut out that piece. They are, you know, because this is an 8 by 8 sheet, they are a little over 2 inches by 4 inches. So that's going to be a really nice size for just a lot of paper crafting. And so I cut her out, glued her to the suede, and then foam taped that to the card front. The Every Bunny Loves You is on the other sheet. In fact, let me get it for you. I'm over here going through these papers to find it, and I'm not finding it. Okay. Oh, here it is. How silly. It's on the blue sheet. Every Bunny Loves You. So you can just trim that out if you want to leave the blue matting, or if you want to cut this out and mat it on a different color, that's certainly your choice. And then I just foam taped it. Foam taped it overlapping the suede and just at, you know, kind of over at the lower right-hand corner. I did want to add a little bit of embellishment in addition, and so I went to the thin line dies, and this is out of the colorful collection, and you can see all of the colors that are in here, and there are 63 borders per sheet. So you're getting 630 in this package, so that's really good. You can see the green on the front. This is the blue one. And I just, I do use those small professional scissors All the time, absolutely all the time. In fact, I think I have about 3 sets sitting at my desk just because they're so easy for cutting those areas where the dazzles are going to be added. And I just highly, highly recommend them, and I do put them on all of my supply lists. So that's the card front, really simple, really easy. Now for the inside, okay. Now I added a bit of that suede because that's an 8.5 by 11 sheet and I wanted to have more. And remember, I used the blue thin line. Well, I did a blue thin line, but in that package, there's also gold, and it's a mirror gold. So I wanted to add just one strip right along, just right next to the suede. Now, the suede is next to, or just actually about 1/4 of an inch from the fold, so no danger of it interrupting that fold or becoming, bumpy. I did add Color Your World with Flowers. That's just another one. But then I want to talk about this, and I used this technique through the whole webisode. And I have to tell you something. I've used the fabulous folded card dies. I've used the circles, the squares, the rounds, the arch, the elliptical, all of those large dies. I haven't done much with these little ones, nor have I done much with the ones that layer. So this was really a fun thing for me. So I brought in the Happy Spring. This is out of the Delightful Dimensional selection. And because I wanted a basket, and then if I'm going to have a basket, I might as well have some flowers in it. So I die cut all of those, but I needed to find a solid that would go with all the colors in this collection. And that was nice because I found the Tulip Parade met that criteria. So you can see all the 12 colors, and I'm going to be using a lot of them. But I did call for this, I think, in most of the projects. So, if I'm going to ask you, I'm going to show you something that will work, I want to make sure that you can see it used multiple times. Okay. So what was new to me, and I'm going to scoot these in, was playing with these. So I've done, as I said, I've done the larger dies, but I haven't played with these smaller ones. Now that may seem like a really strange confession, but it's true. So I just wanted to share it with you. And one of the things that I found is that it is so easy to add dimension to these, just so easy. And so what I would do is I would place the die onto a little piece of that solid Tulip Parade cardstock. And I would hold it in place with the low-tack tape, just because that made it easy. And when it was done, so then I had pieces like this, very flat color, and that's fine if that's what you want. That's kind of not what I wanted. So what I did is I brought in this case, it's going to be Velvet Fawn, because I used the tan cardstock. And I used my smallest blending brush, and it's no magic, but I just did this over the cutting die. And it takes a moment, and because our dies have that thin line process, this really brings those to the forefront. And I like that. If you're going to have something that makes it unique, why not show it? And I brought it up onto the handle, and it just takes a moment, just like this. Now, this piece has dimension this time. It didn't before. Now, if I want to, I can go back, and you kind of want to have it maybe at the bottom a little bit more, on the edges, and that way it's going to really make the look work nicely. So that's all it takes, all it takes. So I use the Velvet Fawn on this particular basket, so anywhere I use tan. I used khaki on these. Now, these are, here's the flower and the petal, or flower and the stem. That's one piece. Then you can cut out the flowers separately from other dies that are in the same package. Now, I just took tacky, I'm going to use baby wipes because that's actually what I do when I'm designing too. I just take a baby wipe, do this, and then I move on to my next color. In this case, it's khaki. And I really only care about the stems. So if you want to get in closer, Jeanette, that would be fine. So I'm just, again, I'm just doing the edges, but I want to get a little dimension. Okay. And part of this is going to be how juicy your ink pad is. And is that, okay. So let me show you. Okay, so you can probably see the difference between this and this. That's the difference a few strokes with a blending brush does. And I think it's amazing, absolutely amazing, because the difference is amazing to go from, you know, the flat thing that's perfectly fine, but it's just okay. And, you know, I want my stuff to be a little bit better than okay. Now for yellow, yellow's a different animal because I tried yellow and it didn't really do anything. So doing orange on it, and this happens to be tangerine. So I'm just going to go around the edges. And I think what it does is it just perks up the color. So again, you can see that's all I'm doing. It's just effortless. And now if this is silly, for many of you who've done this forever, just, you know, bear with me, folks. So, okay, one more. Okay, so the difference between that and that with this fuzzy, come on, camera, get better. Jeanette, make it get better.
It tries to focus on your hands.
Oh, it's focusing on my hands. Okay, well, I'll get my hands out of there. Okay, so the difference between those two, I think, is pretty neato. I'm going to get these out of the way. Oh, the other thing you want to do is, because of our slits, so there is a cut right there. So I took my biggest flower and I put that in first, and I put a little bit of glue on the stem and the leaves, and this one I think I pushed down a little bit, and then I added this one, inserting it and letting that pop up, and I let the leaf kind of go over the basket, and I did the same thing over here and let that tuck behind, so they're kind of in a chorus line there. And then after all that's glued in place, and then you can even attach it to your card at that point, then take the colored pieces, match them up, and glue them in place. So let me show you the finished card. And here it is, just like that. Now I did add, so you see how those leaves are going over the basket? And I did add into the center some of the, this is the gold pearl, tiny gold flowers. So you have a ton of them on there, 3 different sizes, 3 different shapes. And so I just added them into the centers, and then I put one over here, color your world with flowers. So that's what I did with this little card. So that was my first one. I'm feeling pretty proud of that. But I recognize that front is pretty simple. Now this is more of the kind of dies that I've used regularly in the past. And this time I'm using this sheet, and you can see the bunny. Now you do have a ton of these. Now that number of 176 cutouts, that's if you use it only as cutouts. If you use the back side and the front side, that's going to cut your die cuts down to 83. Gosh, that's just terrible, isn't it? But that will be fine. So, or is it 88? I think it's 88. So that will be fine. But if you want to kind of sparse them out, you can just take one and do what I've done on this card. So I have my oval in the front. So what I did is the back side of this absolutely charming little bunny is this very dark leaves. So I covered my whole card front with this. And you know the process. You put glue around the edges, your adhesive. You want to be really sure to get adhesive in the center because we're going to be doing a cutting die. And push that down, turn it over, and just use your scissors. Now, then what I did is I took my 2 1/4 inch wide oval, not the scallop, just the solid one, and attached it here with the low tack tape. And because my die cutter, I've got the Gemini, and it's a 6-inch mouth, so I needed to turn this over. You can see the impression of the die. You usually want to put a piece of cardstock over that die, then you can run it through your machine. Okay, so that's exactly what I did. Then I kind of played around between the colors, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to go totally yellow. Okay, so ignore the scallop, just look at that. So if I wanted to go yellow, which I could do here, or if I wanted to go green. So what I did is I took the next largest oval that is not scalloped and put those 2 on the green and die cut this frame. Then I left the small one in place on the yellow, and I put the larger scallop and die cut that. So then what I had left, or what I had done then, is I had my yellow that had the scallop, and then I had my green. Simply glued them to the front of the card. So that worked out nicely. But I kind of wanted to show you that, you know, you have choices. Now, yellow is not prominent. It's there, but it's not prominent in my art. And it's not really there either, but there's kind of a light green. So the yellow I felt worked really well. It's a very soft yellow in that Tulip Parade solid cardstock set. So that worked nicely. But I wasn't done, of course. I really wanted to dress up the borders. So I used, this is the thin line still, isn't it? But this is the thin line pearl and pastel. And it has this gold one that is the gold pearl. And so you can see, and we can get in maybe closer, where I used 3 different ones on the outside, just went about 1/8 of an inch from the fold. And then I did 2 of them down at the bottom. And I like the effect of letting those overlap, and it kind of just makes an interesting little technique there. So I only did those 2 pieces. Then I went back to those tiny gold flower dazzles that I used in the first card, and I put them around the frame just to add a little bit of pizzazz there. May your Easter basket be full. Well, that's off of this sheet, isn't it? Yes, it is, right here. Okay, so once again, I just trimmed it and foam taped it, put another little flower there. For the inside, I wanted to have a different look. So you can see several of the colors go with her. And this is the peach that has the dots. It's on the back side of this one. And this also has bunny kisses and Easter wishes to match it. So I cut this piece smaller than my card, so it's probably 4.5 by 6. Glued it down. Just cut out my little bunny and positioned her. Now you just want to be sure, as most of you know, that you can really see her as you want to see her when the card is closed. So what I did is I put glue on the back of her, and then I held her there, and then I held her down and then pushed it down like this. So that way I would make sure that she would be in good shape and exactly where I wanted her. And then I wanted to add just a bit more of decorative element there. So I went with the white fancy border. I've shared this before, but I'm going to share it again because I'm really happy with it. I took the largest one which is very wide, would be kind of tricky to use. Well, it wouldn't be tricky to use as a border. It's just that it would be a larger border. I placed my sheet on my paper trimmer and cut it in half vertically. And that's a lie. That's not what I did here. I'd used this one. Sorry. Okay. So I pulled up this one. I know you can't see it with white, but that's the one on each side. There's two of those. So I just put those. Did not cut it in half. Okay. So that took care of. I do like when the front is predominantly one color combination and then you open it and there's another one. I think it's just an extra little surprise and I think that's fun. Okay, so this is done and again was using those oval dies. Okay, now I'm going to go with this one. So I felt it was time that Puppy's got another little showcase here. So I took him. I just thought he was absolutely darling. So we've got another mouse, we've got a kitty, and others. And I wanted to use him in something that would really frame his size. And the tag in a bag, you know the tag in a bag because it's just so doggone useful. And so I used this. And what you have are simply two dies, the bag and the tag. Okay. So for the bag, I used this one. This is the back side of that first sheet. And the die will fit on there. Let me show you. Okay, the plastic. I do like, and customers tell me they like it too, is that everything fits into the wallet that houses the dies and the instructions. So this will fit on the 8x8, just like so. And you may want to position it so that it is, so you'll have as much left as you want. So, you know, maybe if you want to have some of these words, you want to shift it differently. So it's going to use most of the paper. Okay, so just run it through. You will use extra sticky tape because when you are putting this together, it's just really useful to put extra sticky tape on that bottom flap right there, and then close that one, put extra sticky tape on it, and let that one go over it. Okay, and what I like is that little pinked edge does line up perfectly, of course. Then that creates your bag. Okay, so that's what I did with this one. And I used the Velvet Fawn ink on the edges of my little puppy. Let's see, let me show you the before and after. Okay, there's the before and the after. So you can see what it does. It just makes a frame. It's kind of like a faux mat, so that's nice. I did use the Egg Hunting We Will Go that was off of another sheet, foam tape that in place. Now, for the tag, again, into the Tulip Parade solid cardstock, and I chose one of the frames that doesn't have anything in it, and I want to show it to you. It is this one. Am I lying? Okay, it wasn't that one. Maybe. It is this one. Okay, it's on the same sheet as the puppy. Okay, so it's this one. So it's got the little eggs down there. I did a little bit of inking on the edge, not much. Lead me to the Chocolate Bunny Factory. So this reads, Egg Hunting We Will Go, and lead me to the Chocolate Bunny Factory, which I thought was fun. But I really thought, I need a chocolate bunny. So where I found them is right here in the Tulip Parade. Now we're using the Tulip Parade solid cardstock in the Tulip Parade cutting dies. Now, don't worry. I'm not going to suggest that you purchase this when all we're doing is one little chocolate bunny. We'll be using some other pieces in the next card. But for this one, you do have two bunnies, and they are facing different directions, so that worked nicely. So I did the same thing that I talked to you about, is that I inked it, and you can see the difference. Okay, there you go. There's the before and the after. Just what a little bit of ink with the blending tool does. Now, this has a hole for the eye. We do that purposely. And what I recommend is that you take black cardstock, and you just need just a little snippet, and put glue on it, and then tuck it behind the rabbit. And that's what I've done here. And then glue it in place. And like I said, lead me to the chocolate bunny factory. Just seemed really fun. So that's what I did there. For the bow, a lot of times people will do a long length, fold it in half, insert the fold through the hole, and then bring the ribbon tails through that, that hole they've made. What I've been doing is simply taking one length, and this is out of the brown ribbon pack, and because this has a lot of different colors and different widths, so I took the 1/2 inch grosgrain and just inserted it, and then I took this stitched brown, there's a dark brown stitching on it, and just wrapped it around that part right above the tag and knotted it. And I think it just gives a really nice, a nice look. And there's a spot on my table, and I don't know why. Okay, there we go. And then just insert it. Now with the bag, the way I did it, you're going to have a little bit of a edge up there, a little bit of art up there. This is going to cover it. And I liked having such a distinctly different color on the inside. I just felt it just kind of said, hey, pull me out, let me see you. I didn't do anything on the back side, but you certainly could. Or you could write your message there or put it on the back of your card. Oh, handmade just for you is another one of the cutouts. So that was fun. Okay, one more. Let me get my tag put away. And let me show you this. So as I was looking, I wanted to do her because I thought the pink and the blue was just really sweet. And I thought, now, doesn't she look perfect if I had a picket fence? Well, I do have a picket fence. In fact, it's called picket fence number 2. This is the cutting die. And this gives you a 5.5 inch long piece with a tab so that you can have your fence open, just like it shows right here. But I didn't do that. I die cut it, and I trimmed off the bottom part, so it was just 3 inches tall, and I trimmed off that tab and just glued it on the card. But you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? Okay, let me show you what I used. Here is my little girl. And I know that there are horse people out there, so for you, I made sure that we had one of these in here. So I've got her. Now, I did not ink the edges of her. I did put her on a pink solid. Again, I am in the Tulip Parade, that collection. See, all the colors, just really nice. So I matted her first on the light pink and then onto this kind of dusty blue, and left her. Then I did the whole piece using this light blue, which is on one of the sheets that I've misplaced. Okay, bear with me. You know it's there. Okay. Oh, there it is. Yes, there it is. Okay, it's on the back of my little puppy. So right there. So simply do the same thing. Just cover it, glue, push this down, turn it over, and cut it. So that works. Then I took Blueberry and inked the edges. And I am hoping that you can see those edges. But let me grab a piece of white cardstock. There you go. Now you can really see it, can't you? So that's Blueberry. I haven't used Blueberry very much, but that was fine. Now, when I placed her, notice I put her over toward the fold of the card. I wanted to have room for this. I also wanted to do something down here, so that worked well for me. I didn't realize until I was writing the directions that I used the same phrase for my third card and my fourth card, but I think you'll forgive me. Egg hunting, we will go. I love the idea of the picket fence. I just thought that was so fun, and I wanted to share with you these because these come out of the Tulip Parade. Remember, I promised you there would be more uses for this. And I used this bouquet of tulips, which I cut out of green and out of pink. I used this barrel, and I cut it out of that kind of a bluish, whoops, you can't see it, there it is. And I also cut this piece, which is the kind of that thing that's holding that bucket together. I cut that out of the same color. So those three, and a bunny, actually a bunny for the front and a bunny for the inside. So I'm not going to talk about the bunny because I've already done that, but I do want to share with you what I did with these. Again, you know, I was just really happy of doing this with the colors of the inks and the blending brush. So with the green, I of course used the khaki, just like I had done before. With the pink, I used pink petal. Now this pink is very soft, and it's very pretty, and that's perfectly fine, but I wanted a bit more color. And like I said, I wanted to do the tips. So that's exactly what I did. Just ran it. Now you can get more detail. I did leave it connected to the rest of it, because at this point I wanted to make it as easy on myself to hold this. Okay, so I'm wiping this off on my baby wipe. So that is the pink. Then I took the barrel and I used blueberry. Pretty sure I used blueberry. Yes, I did. Okay, so blueberry, which is what I used on the card front, is what I used on this. And, you know, I really should have shown this to you. Let me show it to you as a before and after. Okay, there it is before, and there it is after. Look how much more dimension it gives. And then I did do something, only because I've cut this out of the same blue. I went ahead, because I really wanted it to be different, and I colored it with the Velvet Fawn. Yes, it is totally different color, but you know, it worked. So I was happy. So you can go a slightly different color should you wish to do that. So in this deal, okay, so there you go. Wipe it off. Now, I glued this to my finished piece and put it right there. So that worked. I glued this, and with this barrel, you can just glue these behind, and you can decide if you want any of the leaves to curl over. I, of course, did. Then you simply cut off each of these pieces, put a dab of glue, a drop of glue, and attach them on top, and you get your pink tulips all perfectly aligned in that little bucket. So I've got the bunny there. So I know most of you have done this forever, but I have not had the opportunity to play with these smaller pieces, and I had a great time. I absolutely had a great time, okay? Bear with me. On the inside of my card, I went with a different color, as you can see, and I used this piece that it's on the kitty page, and I used the paper that's on the back, which is the dotted peach. So cut this down, glued it in place. I matted this on the same color that I used for my tag in a bag out of the Tulip Parade. Notice that this is glued over toward the right because I wanted to leave room for this way to the bunny trail. And if we can get in super close, just want to show you this bunny because it's going the opposite way, but same thing, velvet fawn with a black eye. Now I know some bunnies have a pink eye, but that just looks kind of odd to me, so I'm sticking with the black eyes. And that was fun. So we have egg hunting we will go, and this way to the bunny trail. Okay, I had so much fun. It was really good. And as I said, the Bunnies in Basket is a limited edition. Now for the Money Saver, I did put in the Tulip Parade because they match perfectly, and that was just great. And that was easy. So that's over on the right-hand side of your screen. This is a limited edition, so it will be out, let's see, we're in February now. Easter is April 5. So, you know, plan accordingly. And I hope you like it. We really had fun time creating it, and I had a fun time designing for you. There is the Money Saver, as I said, over there. I did write up all the directions for you down below so you can get the measurements. And I hope that you had fun watching the coloring of the tiny die cut pieces because you're going to see that some more. Whenever I can fit that in, that will be great. If you're watching us on YouTube, we'd love it if you would head on over to Paper Wishes because that's the only place you can get this and the only place you can get the Tulip Parade solid cardstock too. So that's another reason to head on over. I want to thank you so much for joining me and for being absolutely the best part of Paper Wishes. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.